Hey, it's Allie, and I want to talk to you today about this book, Burnout, The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle by Emily and Amelia Nagoski. There was so much that I loved about this book, and I'm just going to tell you like 4 things, but there's loads. First of all, they start with this idea of positive emotional attractors and how important it is that we move towards a positive goal and not that we're in a negative state that we're trying to avoid or move away from. And I believe that, and when I coach people, I'm always sort of trying to help them get to that positive emotional state. What does success look like? They also talk a lot about stress and what happens when we feel stress and how important it is to complete the stress cycle. And by completing the stress cycle, they mean not only that the stress itself ends, but that you do something to let your body know that you're feeling okay again, like exercise, breathing, positive emotional connection, laughter, affection, how important that is. And for so many of us, I think we're in stress. The stress ends and we think we should be okay, but they say you've got to actually complete the stress cycle. I loved that part of the book. There's another part of the book where they talk about agency. I think this one might have been one of the most powerful lines for me because they're talking about what happens when this thing that you're doing just keeps causing stress and you can't seem to finish it, complete the stress cycle, or figure it out. And they say, the quality of our lives day to day is measured by our freedom to stay or leave. That freedom comes when we have abundance enough and safety enough to let go of what is broken and reach for something new. And they give you a worksheet to figure out whether it's time to go or leave. But I think that idea of agency, our power, our freedom to choose to stay or leave, that actually makes us feel more resilient, more optimistic. Agency is an antidote to stress, and sometimes there just isn't more that we can endure. There's a chapter on meaning, which I loved, the upshot of which is meaning is made, not found. And in my course on Personalize, I spend a lot of time helping you think about your values, who you are, what you stand for, what your purpose is, because there's so much optimism and ability to recover from stress and stay away from burnout when we're working with our purpose. And there's this sort of anecdote they give in the beginning, and they say, that's the power of meaning. We can tolerate any suffering if we know why, and not knowing why is itself a profound type of suffering. I found that really powerful. And the last thing I'll share with you is throughout the book, they give you exercises to kind of see how you deal with particular things or ways to reframe. And one of their reframing techniques, they call it the origin story. And it's a bit of turning post-traumatic grief into post-traumatic growth. And what they have you do is write down an adversity that you survived that was out of your control. So maybe someone else was in control. It was a pandemic, for example, something that happened that was an adversity that you survived. Write that down. Then they ask you, what'd you do to survive that adversity? What helped you get through it? What resources did you leverage? And then in the third part, they say, and how do you continue to leverage those resources in other parts of your life? And in the end, you end up with this story that is, even though I couldn't control, fill in the blank, the pandemic, let's say, I managed to, what's your survival tactic? Breathe, work, stay fit, stay healthy. And then I used that breathing work, that staying fit work, that staying healthy work to grow stronger. After that, I could, and you fill in the blank. And I love that way of reframing. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here about what they call human giver syndrome. There's a lot about what they call ways that they deal with body image issues that women face over and over. And just lots of strategies that go well beyond self-care. This is really about science and the brain and how to stay out of a stress cycle or how to recover from one if you're in it. I loved this book, Burnout. Check it out.